Chapter 41-22. Due to unknown reasons, this site is suddenly unavailable on Sogu today. She had left her aura on it. No one in Yuyue Palace would dare to touch him. Idiot. Idiot. Stubborn. Brainless. This kind of idiot should be taught a lesson. Yuyu gritted her teeth, but by the time she came back to her senses, she had already appeared below. She grabbed Yun Ruhan's collar and dragged her back a few dozen meters. The difference in height between them was too big. After Yuyu steadied herself, her body swayed and she fell backward. Before she could use her devil chi to stabilize herself, a pair of hands had already firmly held onto her waist, almost bringing her into his embrace. A mellow and gentle voice rang in her ear. "Be careful." It sounded as if something furry was gently tickling her earlobe. Her delicate earlobe immediately turned crimson. Yuyu pushed her away angrily and struggled out of the embrace. But she didn't look at Yun Ruhan. Instead, she stared coldly at the demons in front of her. "How dare you touch my people? Are you tired of living?" From the moment Yuyu appeared, the demon pets had stiffened, their faces full of panic. When they heard Yuyu's words, they all felt as if they had been struck by lightning and were on the verge of collapse. "Your Excellency, why you really did this fallen evil?" One of the handsome and tall demons said unwillingly with tears in his eyes. Yuyu raised her small chin. "That's right. I slept with him last night." "What, do you have a problem with that?" Yun Ruhan, the demon, burst into tears. "Your Excellency, I've been by your side for more than a year. Even if you want to sleep, you should sleep with me first." "Your Excellency, me too, me too." "Your Excellency, if you don't like the stench, I've been waiting for you every day." Yuyu looked at the demons who were chattering non-stop, expressionless at first. Then, the corners of her mouth slowly curled up, revealing a bright, pure, and innocent smile like that of a little girl. "Are you expressing your dissatisfaction with me?" The voices from below stopped abruptly. All the devils' faces revealed a terrified expression, and they retreated again and again. "No, no. Absolutely not. Milord, we worship you. We are jealous of that fallen evil, but we don't dare to be dissatisfied with you." Yuyu snorted coldly and said, "It's best if you don't." The group of people retreated dejectedly. They didn't even dare to let out a fart. Only then did Yuyu turn to Yun Ruhan. "Oh, it's too high. You have to tilt your head up to see." Yuyu was very unhappy. "Are you an idiot?" Yun Ruhan coughed lightly. "I can explain what happened last night to them." Yuyu said disdainfully, "Why should I explain it to them? I heard that these magic pets were all snatched back by you, my lord. Since you've snatched them back, you should treat them well." Anger flashed in Yuyu's eyes. "Are you lecturing me?" She kept a bunch of male concubines in her harem, but abandoned them after messing with them, not caring about them. If she was in the mortal realm, she would be called a scumbag, right? But when Yun Ruhan looked at the young girl in front of her, she felt like she was looking at a willful child. He smiled and said gently, "I wouldn't dare." With that, he brushed past the young girl and left. "Stop right there. Who allowed you to leave?" With a flash, the young girl's figure directly teleported in front of him. Yun Ruhan was caught off guard and couldn't stop his footsteps. Seeing that they were about to collide, he hurriedly reached out and hugged her. A faint fragrance, mixed with the smell of blood, and the young girl's soft and petite body collided into his arms. His heart couldn't help but skip a beat. Chapter 41-23. Yun Ruhan grabbed Yuyu's arm and pushed him away. "Sorry." Yuyu's expression was normal, but her ears were red. She glared at him angrily. Human fallen evils are so annoying. I'll take you to the betrothal contest, okay? Without waiting for Yun Ruhan's response, he had already disappeared from where he stood. Yun Ruhan was stunned for a while before slowly withdrawing his hand. He didn't notice that his hand seemed to have touched the girl's. Oh girls, she was so young, but her body was so developed. Wait. What was he thinking? Even with Yun Ruhan's composure, she couldn't help but blush when she regained her composure. Sorry to interrupt. You're a fallen evil. The voice behind him made Yun Ruhan come back to his senses. He took a deep breath, calmed his pounding heart, and turned to look at the newcomer. It was an extremely handsome man. His eyes were long and narrow, reaching all the way to his temples. His nose was high, and his jawline was sharp and perfect. Even though Yun Ruhan was used to seeing her junior sister and junior uncle's peerless looks, she had to praise this person's appearance. You are. The newcomer smiled. I'm Luo Siyuan, also a fallen evil, and also, one of Lady Yu Yu's magic pets. The words, Lady Yu Yu's magic pet, made Yun Ruhan feel inexplicably uncomfortable. However, it soon disappeared without a trace. Luo Siyuan continued, I used to be a rogue cultivator. Because of the persecution and suppression of some big sects, I was forced to fall into the devil path and escape to the hidden abyss. When I was on the brink of death, it was Lord Yuyue who saved me and gave me a place to stay so that I could continue cultivating. Yun Ruhan didn't want to have too much to do with this Yuyue palace. But he knew nothing about the Shushan continent, and his junior sister was right in front of him, but he couldn't meet her. So he smiled at Luo Siyuan. I'm Yun Ruhan, and I was also saved by Lady Yu Yu. But my magic core was badly injured, and I don't remember many things. Brother Luo, can you tell me about the Shushan continent and the hidden abyss? What is Lady Yu Yu's identity? Why are there so many magic pets? Luo Siyuan thoughtfully looked at him a few times before smiling kindly. Of course, I'll be happy to. Currently, Mu Yan really did not have many ruin crystals on hand. She had only made an announcement in the no-man's zone, and she had already spent most of her ruin crystals. Most importantly, this was only the cost of publishing an announcement for half a month. Of course, Mu Yan chose the most top-level announcement. No matter who it was, as long as they entered the rebirth plaza of the Tianguang ruins, they would hear the announcement, the unfettered sect summons. Mayan believed that as long as eldest senior brother and the others were in the Shushan continent, they would definitely know of her existence once they entered the Tianguang ruins. It was just that the price was too expensive. With the exchange rate of 2 to 1, other than buying 2 green flame sky pistol, she spent the rest of her mabe here. It was only enough for half a month of announcements in the boundless region. Fortunately, the ruin crystals from this old man's number 1 under the heaven store would soon arrive. At that time, he would make an announcement in the infernal region, nether region, and central plaza. She didn't believe that she wouldn't be able to find her junior brothers of the unfettered sect. After publishing the announcement, Mu Yan suddenly had nothing left. She was so poor that she didn't even have the ruin crystals to buy a mask. Chapter 41-24. She thought about it, and decided to go to the reputation list again. The old man's number 1 under the heavens shop was making money. But in fact, because it was a transaction in the demonic domain, she didn't receive ruins crystals, but mabe. She still had to use the same exchange rate to exchange mabe for ruins crystals to use in the Tianguang ruins. The exchange rate of 2 to 1 was still too high. As soon as Mayan turned around, she saw Bailey Weiran leaning against the wall at the entrance of the alley, smiling at her. Brother Yi, are you looking for someone? Do you need my help? Mayan shook her head, thank you, but it's not necessary. Bailey Weiran took a few steps forward, and the smile on his face became even gentler. When I first met you, I didn't expect that you would reach this step and become a hero sought after by all the demons in the hidden abyss. I never thought that we would really have a showdown one day. Mayan smiled perfunctorily. Brother Bailey is overthinking it. I'm still drifting around in a 3-star main city, but you are recognized as the candidate to go to the 5-star Imperial City to compete for the princess husband. It's still unknown whether we will have a showdown or not. She wasn't being modest when she said this. In fact, she only participated in the groom selection to see the demon princess once. When she arrived at the 5-star Imperial City, she would meet the princess and ask about her little martial uncle's life and death, then she would withdraw from the groom selection. In this way, unless her luck was very good, and she happened to be assigned to the 4-star main city where Bailey Wayran was. Otherwise, the two wouldn't have a chance to fight. Bailey Wayran's mind was clear, and he suddenly said, "You don't want to marry the princess." Those demons who participated in the groom selection, regardless of whether they had a lover or not, would look at the princess with blazing eyes, or at least greed or worship. But when the youngster in front of him talked about the high and mighty demon princess that everyone wanted to marry, his face was calm and his eyes were as clear as water. This wasn't how a demon who longed for love or power should behave. Mayan hooked her lips into a smile and didn't speak. Clearly, she didn't want to discuss this issue with him. Bailey Wayran didn't know why, but an inexplicable joy welled up in his heart. He stared at the youngster's incomparably handsome face and bright eyes, and suddenly blurted out, "I don't want to marry the princess either." Mu Yen stares blankly. "If you don't want to marry me, then why did you participate in the matchmaking election? Competing with his junior martial uncle for his sweetheart? Was this devil sick?" A helpless expression appeared on Bailey Wayran's face. "This is the family's decision. I have to abide by it." After a pause, he forcefully changed the topic. "Little brother Yi, are you lacking ruin crystals? I can help you." "No need." Mu Yan refused without the slightest hesitation. "I won't accept an undeserved reward. What I want, I will naturally get it with my own ability." After saying that, she turned around and left without looking back. Bailey Wayran was left standing on the spot, staring at her silhouette in a daze. Then, he revealed a somewhat disappointed expression. Although he was rejected, Bailey Wayran still found a way to transfer a large amount of Mabe into the Jade Void Key. He thought that it was normal for Yap Liangchen to be unwilling to ask for help since he was young. But in the end, he came from a 2-star main city like Red Star City, so he certainly did not have any Mabe on hand. Even if he refreshed the reputation rankings, he probably wouldn't have that many Mabe to exchange for. If he was really in trouble and I helped him, would that young man show some gratitude towards me? Chapter 41-25. However, as soon as Bailey Wayran placed the Mabe into the Jade Void Key and entered Tianguang Ruins again, he discovered that everything had changed. Ow ow ow, Demon King Yi is invincible. I love him to death. Ha ha ha, what did I say? The reputation leaderboard will belong to Demon King Yi sooner or later. You guys didn't believe me. In the end, Demon King Yi has trampled all the demons under his feet in just one day. Although there are only a few demons who come to the reputation leaderboard in Tianguang Ruins, I still have to say that Demon King Yi is the best. Ah, I'll love you for 10,000 years. Bailey Wayran's heart skipped a beat as he suddenly turned to look at the screen outside the arena. The name at the top had shockingly become Yi Liangchen. So fast. Bailey Wayran's expression did not change, but his heart was already in turmoil. With his strength, it was not difficult to reach the top of the reputation leaderboard in the demon region. However, to achieve it in such a short period of time like Yi Liangchen was not easy either. How could his divine soul withstand so many duels in a day? That seemingly tender and weak youth's strength had actually reached such a level. It seemed that he had underestimated him. As Bailey Wayran was thinking, there was suddenly a scream from the crowd. Shit, shit, shit. Quick, look at the leaderboard in the Central District. Demon King Ye's ranking is still rising. Bailey Wayran abruptly came to his senses and quickly walked towards the Central District Square. Following him in the same direction was a dense crowd of demons. There were many people coming and going in the Central District, but there were not many who gathered at the square and did not leave. At this moment, the demons swarmed over and squeezed into the center of the square, instantly attracting the attention of many human spirit cultivators. Hence, they also moved over. It's really still rising. Why is this happening? Demon King Yi has reached the top. Is it because I'm selling demon elixirs in the world's #1 shop? Get lost, don't you know the rules of Tingguang Ruins? Every transaction has to be completed before the reputation leaderboard is calculated. Every cycle takes at least 7 days. Demon King Yi has only opened the shop for a day, how can his reputation leaderboard increase? Then what's going on? Did something happen in Tingguang Ruins? Bailey Wayran's eyes were fixed on the name that kept jumping up. From the beginning, there were only 50 to 40-something, and then 30-something. The speed was so fast that it made people dumbfounded. He suddenly thought of something and murmured, "Is Yiliang Chen's name already on the reputation ranking of the Wuji district and the Nether district?" Bailey Wayran's voice was not loud, but it was like a clap of thunder, exploding in the ears of every demon. The central area was silent for a moment. Immediately afterward, many demons roared and charged toward the Limitless and Nether regions. Soon, news came back from the front lines. On the Limitless district's reputation ranking, a name that they were familiar with and felt their blood boil appeared, Yi Liangqin. Just like the demon region, the entire boundless region was already in an uproar. Yi Liangqin's name was known by everyone in the everlasting region. Even though they knew that he was a demon, there were still many spirit cultivators in the boundless region who idolized and worshipped him. When they saw Yi Liangqin's name appear on the reputation ranking of the Limitless district, they immediately exploded. Some people were excited and shouted, "God Yi is invincible." Chapter 41-26. But there were also people who were unhappy. This is the ranking of the Limitless region, the ranking of human spirit cultivators. What's the meaning of being stepped on by a demon? That's right. Why are they so happy? It's not like the Limitless region is stepping on the Nether region. But what I find strange is that only the power of the 9 glorious suns can be amplified in the arena of our Limitless district. Even the people of the Nether district don't dare to say that they can trample on all the spirit cultivators of the Limitless district. How did Yi Liangqin, a demon, do it? The demons who found the truth did not care if they were in someone else's territory. They immediately burst into arrogant laughter. All of them were dancing and high-fiving in other people's reincarnation square. Ha ha ha, foolish humans. I'll let you feel the terror of being controlled by Demon King Yi. Demon King Yi, quickly slaughter the Limitless region's reputation ranking. Our demon race is going to rule the Sky Light Ruins, wahahaha. Someone from the Limitless region said angrily, "Stop dreaming." In the Limitless region, the stronger the person is, the greater the 9 glory suns' amplification. Yi Liangqin may be able to do as she pleases in the demon region, but in the Limitless region, the higher the ranking, the harder it will be. I dare say that she will stop at the top 10. Were the people of the devil race people who would listen to opposing opinions? Especially when these words dared to slander the demon King Yi that they worshipped the most. They bared their teeth and rolled up their sleeves, preparing to fight with their weapons. But before they could act, they were stopped by the people beside them. Alright, don't bother with these stupid humans. Did you forget that the Demon King said he would protect the human spirit cultivators of the Limitless region? If we act against these weaklings, wouldn't we be slapping the Demon King's face? Right. I almost forgot if you didn't mention it. Since the Demon King said he would protect them, then we'll spare their lives. TSK, if only the people of the Nether region dared to provoke the Demon King. I'll beat them up. The spirit cultivators of the limitless region, it was a strange feeling to be safe and sound under the protection of the person you slandered. Thus, the argument between the demons and the spirit cultivators of the limitless region ended just like that. Everyone's attention was on the list. In fact, even the demons believed what that spirit cultivator had just said. Yap Liangchen was invincible in the demonic area. That was because the dual arena provided the same benefits to both sides. Everyone was standing on the same line, so it didn't matter if they were at a disadvantage or not. But Great God Yi was at a huge disadvantage in the Everlasting District's arena. If it weren't for the fact that the three regions had different buffs, the reputation rankings of the Limitless region, which had always been suppressed, would have been occupied by the people of the Nether region. However, what happened next completely shattered their understanding of the past. Because the match between the three-star Nebula City was about to end. He did not know what would happen after he went to a 4-star main city. Therefore, Mu Yan intends to push the reputation list to the limit this time. Both spirit cultivators and demons could only stay in the Tianguang ruins for a limited amount of time to engage in intense battles. This was because what moved about in the Tianguang ruins wasn't a real physical body, but a mimicry formed by a person's divine soul. This was a huge drain on one's divine sense. Once it was too much, one's mental state would deteriorate, and even one's soul would be damaged. Chapter 41-27. This time, Mayan plans to directly grind the reputation list until her spirit can't bear it anymore, and then leave the Tianguang ruins. However, she was puzzled. Others would feel tired after 3 to 5 battles in the dueling arena. Even for those with powerful souls and strength, it was already the limit for them to participate in 10 to 20 matches a day. But the more Mu Yan fights, the more spirited she becomes. He went from 3rd place to 1st place on the reputation leaderboard in the demon region. She felt refreshed all over and wished for more. Because of the pain and sadness in his heart when he thought of little Uncle Master, he calmed down quite a bit. However, as long as the champion of the demon region was refreshed, they would no longer be able to fight with others. Thus, Mu Yan came to the Limitless District. She hid her name and appearance and began her journey of continuous battles in the Everlasting District's dueling arena. He only felt that the more he fought, the more refreshed he felt, and the more contented he felt. In the last battle, her opponent was pinned to the ground by her. The 7 absolute sword, which shone with a cold light, was pressed against the man's neck. It was only an inch away from sticking close to his carotid artery and plunging into the ground. His face was deathly pale. Mu Yan says indifferently, "Admit defeat." His opponent's voice was slightly hoarse. After a long while, he said, I admit defeat." Mu Yan pulls out the 7 absolute sword and stands up. She is about to let the duel arena record the results. Suddenly, the voice from below spoke again, "You. Are you Yi Liangqin, God Yi?" Mu Yan stares blankly. Someone recognized me. How could that be? The camouflage in the duel arena was very successful. Up until now, no one had recognized her. Seeing that she did not deny it, the other party immediately became excited. "Great God Yi, it's really you. I worship you so much. I didn't expect to be able to exchange blows with you. Your strength is too strong. Even after being weakened by the 9 glorious suns, you were still able to defeat me so easily. Great God Yi, I really like you." Mu Yan is confused. Weakening the 9 glorious suns. What was that? She felt that whether she was in the Devil region or the Limitless region, she was having a great time fighting. Where did it feel like it had been weakened? Just as she was about to ask for more details, the arena had already declared her the winner. The 2 figures disappeared from the arena at the same time. Almost at the same time, a familiar mechanical voice rings in Mayan's ears. Tianguang Ruins Wuji District Announcement. Tianguang Ruins Wuji District Announcement. The Unbounded Region's Reputation Leaderboard has been updated. The new Unbounded Region's Reputation Leaderboard is Yiliangchen. Mu Yan was directly transported from the dueling arena to the Limitless District's Reincarnation Plaza. She curled her lips, feeling a little displeased. How did he become the champion so quickly? Didn't that mean that she wouldn't be able to find someone to fight in the Limitless District? Should he return to Cloud Nether City to refine pills, or should he go to the Nether region? At the thought of going to the Nether region and having to start matching from a low-level cultivator, Mu Yan felt a little dispirited. There were too few experts who would come to the Tianguang Ruins dueling ground to cultivate. After all, this place was mainly a trading place. Guru Yi, isn't that Guru Yi? Demon King Yi, please let me kneel and lick your toes. Please let me be your slave for life. God Yi, stay in our Limitless District. We are willing to follow you forever. Scram, Great Demon King Yi belongs to our demon race. I am the Great Demon King's demon in life, and the Great Demon King's ghost in death. Mu Yan, looking at the crowd madly rushing towards her, she turns around and runs. Have the people of the Shushan continent been infected by the demon race? Why are they all crazier than the Shushan continent's Liangchen army? Chapter 41-28. Mu Yan left Tianguang Ruins first and borrowed 1,000 mabe from Night Spirit. Night Spirit now had 50,000 mabe in his hands and was extremely wealthy. Moreover, after eating so many elixirs from Mu Yan, his advancement speed was extremely fast. Once he heard that Mu Yan wanted to borrow money, he took out all his belongings without hesitation. But Mu Yan rejected him. She only took 1,000 mabe and exchanged it for 5,000 ruin crystals. Yes, after slaughtering the Limitless region's reputation leaderboard. Mu Yan had now entered the top 10 of the reputation leaderboard. The exchange rate of mabe to ruin crystals had also reached 5-1. When the mabe from the old man is number 1 under heaven shop arrived, she would become rich overnight. After borrowing Night Spirit's former mabe, Mu Yan was not in a hurry to enter Tianguang Ruins. Instead, she used the chaotic demonic transformation to concoct a few hundred elixirs. The elixirs this time had functions similar to the barrier-breaking elixir and assisted in cultivation. There were also some elixirs that repaired damage to the demon core, cleaned the impurities in the demon core, and strengthened demon chi for a short period of time. Because the effects of these elixirs were ordinary, she didn't even bother to name them. She named them according to their types: Great Strength Pill number 1, Great Strength Pill number 2, Great Strength Pill number 3. Then she put them on the shelves in the Old Man is number 1 under heaven shop and set a limit for each demon to buy 1 bottle. When all the elixirs were put on the shelves, Mu Yan immediately went to a shop in the central district and bought a mask that could conceal one's name and appearance. Then she plunged into the Nether region's dueling arena. After searching the Limitless region and the Demon region for an entire night, the demons and spirit cultivators of the Polar region found nothing. In the end, they could only leave Tianguang Ruins dejectedly. But there were some who stayed and waited outside the Old Man is number 1 under heaven shop. They knew that Demon King Yi had fought for a day and night and would definitely not have the energy to refine the elixirs. But they didn't have to buy the elixirs. They just wanted to take a look at their idol. This group of demons didn't expect that they, who had waited obediently without any hope, would wait until the old man is number one under heaven shop opened. Because she had no money to hire a shop assistant, Mu Yan didn't want to appear in front of others. Therefore, the Laozi is the number one under the world store was set up to sell for dummies. A maximum of 200 people could enter the shop at one time, and each person could only stay inside for a maximum of 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, regardless of whether they bought anything or not, they would be sent out and could not enter again for a day. Each person could only buy one bottle of pills from the store. These demons were dumbfounded when they saw that the shop had opened up automatically and that the shop was filled with elixirs. They rubbed their eyes, then screamed and rushed in. By the time the news of the old man is number one under heaven, having a new magic dan for sale had spread throughout the demon area, the magic dan inside had already been sold out, and the door of the shop had automatically closed. The person who bought it was overjoyed. Those who didn't manage to buy it were beating their chests and stamping their feet. The direct result was that there were more people waiting outside the shop of Dad is number one in the world. You guys don't know, when I snatched the magic pill from the first shop today, I thought it was going to help me cultivate again. Because I had already eaten one before, I felt that it would be a waste to eat more in such a short period of time, so I planned to sell it. I didn't expect it. The effect of this magic dan is actually to mend an injured magic dan. A few years ago, my magic dan was damaged in a battle and I haven't been able to recover. Now that I've only eaten one, guess what, it's done. My magic dan is healed. Ha 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 ha. Chapter 41-29. It's just that the name Great Demon King was given too casually. What great strength pill number 3, such a precious devil pill should be given a cool and domineering name. What great strength pill number 3, it's such an insult to such a treasure. In the wee hours of the morning, a demon who happened to be waiting for the devil pill was talking non-stop with his saliva flying everywhere. Although it sounded like ridicule, the pride and satisfaction on his face couldn't be concealed. Hearing this, a few demons at the side felt sour in their hearts as they swallowed their saliva. If it wasn't for the rule of Tianguang ruins that no one could use force, they would have beaten this fellow up. What kind of demon immortal was Great Demon King Yi? To be able to refine so many devil pills, not only to aid in cultivation, but also to repair damaged devil pills. Why did they leave Tianguang ruins so early yesterday? If they were also waiting here, wouldn't they have snatched the devil pill already? The demons were filled with regret, and secretly made up their minds to not leave before waiting for the devil pill. But very quickly, cries of shock came from the direction of the plaza. My God, my God! Quickly look at the Central District's reputation list. Great Demon King Ye's ranking has gone up again. You must be joking. Didn't the Great Demon King already slaughter the Limitless District's reputation list yesterday? How can his ranking still go up? Everyone looked at each other, and couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Someone shouted first, the Nether region. What is Great Demon King Yi doing? Someone asked in a daze. Is he going to slaughter the entire reputation list of the 3rd district? Just use 2 days. Although the demon race had always been arrogant and lawless. But hearing this sentence, they all fell silent. Because this idea was too crazy, too unimaginable. One must know that in Tianguang ruins, the strength of all humans and demons were suppressed to the same level. In other words, their true strength wasn't much different. In the arena, what competed the most was divine ability and battle experience. And slaughtering the list in a short period of time, competed the strength of one's consciousness. Although Yi Liangchen's slaughtering of the demon region's list had caused a heated discussion, it couldn't be considered a sensation. Because he had to participate in the marriage selection, he could only find time to farm points in the arena. But this time, the rankings of the Everlasting Slaughter District and the Nether District were different. It had been 2 days, a whole day and 2 nights. Yap Liangchen had no idea how many battles he had fought. How could he not feel tired? Could his divine soul withstand it? If the great demon King Yi really slaughtered even the reputation ranking of the Nether region, then just how strong is her spirit? How powerful is she? In the hidden abyss, are there really any demons of the younger generation who can contend against the great demon king? Could it be? Could it be that Yap Liangchen really became the princess' husband? The square was quiet for a moment, but the expressions of the demons became more and more excited. If Yap Liangchen really becomes the prince consort of the princess, will he become a demon one day? If Yi Liangchen becomes a demon lord, will we be able to get a lot of demon cores? In the fiend race, only the strong were respected, and the victor was king. There is no inherent human class concept. The fiend race worshipped the demon lord because he was strong enough. As the flesh and blood of the demon lord, the princess must be incomparably strong. But if someone appeared and defeated the demon lord and took over the position of the demon lord? Chapter 41:30. No demons would be afraid to talk about it because of this. Strength was everything. This was the law of survival for the demon race. At this point, Mu Yan still didn't know that many low-grade demons in the hidden abyss of the Tianguang ruins had already placed their bets on her, secretly hoping that she would become the next demon lord. In the Netherworld area's dueling arena, after experiencing the airport battle, Mu Yan couldn't help but frown slightly. The battle in the Netherworld was not as smooth as expected. When the battle started, there seemed to be an invisible force around her, preventing her from using her divine arts. If she had the Tian Mo Qin in hand at this time, she would naturally be able to easily eliminate these obstacles. But the Tian Mo Qin is still sealed in the space and cannot be taken out. Mu Yan recalled the words of the opponent she encountered in the Limitless District. 9 lights lunar, and 9 lights sun, weakening and amplifying. She remembered that when she first activated her domain, it was the first time she had heard of the 9 lights moon, and 9 lights sun. Those who possessed the 9 glory lunar were suitable to practice the cultivation techniques of the nether realm. Those who possessed the 9 glorious suns were suitable to practice the techniques of the polar domain. But Mayan star field is neither subordinate to the 9 planets lunar, nor the 9 planets sun. At that time, her domain had taken a bite out of Di Mingju's and Little Marshal Uncle's domains, and it had leveled up. Later on, Di Mingju healed her many times. Her tyrannical and gluttonous stellar domain had more or less taken a few bites from Di Mingju's domain. Therefore, her star domain could be completely recognized by the 9 glorious suns of the boundless region. But he did not receive the full approval of the 9 glory lunar in the netherworld. Therefore, her strength was weakened to a certain extent. They wouldn't lose if they fought like this, but it wasn't satisfying enough. They wouldn't be able to fully immerse themselves in the battle and enjoy the joy. Right at this moment, a notification sound rang in her mind, informing her that someone was contacting her. It was Mo Ju. There was still Bailey Weiran. Mu Yan thought for a while, but did not start the next battle. Instead, he left the dueling arena. I'm in the nether region. Not long after this message was sent, a small figure appeared at the edge of the square and slowly walked towards her. He was clearly a child, but his demeanor were extremely similar to that of a high and mighty ruler. Especially that pair of icy blue eyes, biting cold and indifferent, looking down on the world. The arrogant nether region cultivators on the square couldn't help but retreat. Mu Yan recalls the blurry figure she saw that day, and she slightly narrows her eyes. His heart was churning with questions and guesses, but his face did not change as he said, "Little Jew, why have you come here?" Mo Jew's dashing steps froze and he muttered darkly, "Don't call me Little Jew." Mu Yen smiled and went forward to rub his head. "You just look so small. If I don't call you Little Jew, what should I call you?" Mo Jew Di Ming Ju was so upset that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. She even forgot to pursue the matter of her head being rubbed by this rude youth. He grabs Mayan's hand, his small fingers firmly resting on her wrist, full of dominance and possessiveness. "Call me Yen Yu." Before he could finish his words, an annoying voice reached his ears. "Liang Chen, you really are in the nether region." Chapter 41-31. Mu Yen stares blankly. Didn't Bailey Weiran always call him Little Brother Yi? Why did she suddenly call him Liang Chen? Moreover, that gaze seemed to be a little too scorching, causing her to subconsciously avoid his gaze. Bailey Weiran lowered his eyes and looked at the young man's picturesque features. He became even more determined. He did not want to marry the princess. Demons should follow their hearts and be free and carefree. He liked men, so he admitted that he liked men. Even if he was expelled from the sect because of this, even if he was rejected by the youth in front of him, he would not regret it. Liking her was just his own business. When Bailey Weiran thought of this, his heart became even more tender and sweet. His eyes were as bright as the stars, and his voice was also soft as if he was protecting a piece of jewelry. "Liang Chen, won't you hurt your divine soul by fighting day and night like this? Perhaps I should take a rest first." If Mu Yan was cross-dressing, she would have already guessed Bailey Weiran's intentions. However, he was now a man recognized by the entire Devil Kingdom and a popular candidate to be the princess's son-in-law. Who would have guessed that Bailey Weiran, who was also a candidate for the emperor's son-in-law, would fall in love with a man like him? Therefore, the strange speculation in his heart was quickly thrown to the back of his mind. Mayan nodded and said, "Don't worry, it won't affect the marriage selection. Bailey Weiran, who cares about your betrothal contest?" He wished that Yap Liangchen would be eliminated as soon as possible. In their hearts, they felt some resentment towards the demon princess, whom they had originally revered. Bailey Weiran composed himself and said, "I have the heaven's heart sand that can stabilize one's spirit. I don't know if you need it." Mu Yan originally wanted to refuse, but upon hearing the three words, "heaven's heart sand," her heart suddenly moved. Wasn't this one of the top-grade heavenly treasures that Little Nine's master wanted to find? It was even more precious than the green flame sky pistol, and could only be found by luck. According to Little Nine's master, he had previously obtained a few of them, but they were soon squandered away by him when he was experimenting with alchemy. He wanted to get more, but the Heaven's Heart sand was only produced in the hidden abyss. It was extremely difficult for human spirit cultivators to obtain it. There's a longing look in Mayan's eyes. Although he did not deserve it, a treasure like the Heaven's Heart sand was too rare. Not only did Little Nine's master want it, she also wanted it. It was rare for Bailey Weiran to see a different kind of radiance in the young man's eyes. He only felt his heart softening and jumping with joy. Her thick and long eyelashes fluttered gently, as if sweeping something into the bottom of his heart and making it sprout. Ever since he was young, he had never liked someone so much. Bailey Weiran said softly, "If you need it, I can give you 3, okay? Mu Yan is at a loss. I'll buy it from you at the market price. Just 1, 2 will be enough." Bailey Weiran smiled, "I have 5 of them, it's useless to keep so many. You are a devil alchemist, the Heaven's Heart sand will be more effective if I give it to you. How about this, when you refine a suitable devil pill for me to consume, it will be the value of the Heaven's Heart sand. How about it? In fact, the moment Bailey Wayran said this, he didn't want any reward. The devil pill that Yeliankin made was indeed rare and precious, but it was basically only suitable for those who were below the Devil Lord level to consume. It was still effective against demon masters and below the 5th rank. Above the 5th rank, it was basically better than nothing. Bailey Wayran's cultivation had already reached the peak of the Devil Lord level. Even if Mu Yen refined a better devil pill, it would still be useless to him. Chapter 4132. But after thinking about it, Mu Yen feels that this method is feasible. She hasn't mastered the refining of devil cores yet, so the effects of the elixirs she refined are not good. But when he takes out the Tian Mo Chin and refines the devil Dan, it's a completely different matter. As for the current, vigorous pill, number 1, number 2, and number 3, she really can't give them away. But if she can refine an elixir that can help the Devil Lord break through, the value of that devil core will not be comparable to a mere 3, Heaven's Heart sand. Thinking of this, a smile appears on Mu Yan's face. Then many thanks, Brother Bailey. Bailey Wayran can't help but smile, his eyes full of gentleness. You can call me Wayran. As soon as he finished speaking, Bailey Wayran felt a formless pressure envelop him, causing him to be unable to speak any further. The sweat on his forehead seems to have its own consciousness, rolling down drop by drop. He doesn't know what happened, but a deadly sense of crisis surges in his heart. He wants to release his divine sense, but he can't move at all. Then, his figure slowly disappears. That's because his soul is unstable, and he was forced to leave Tianguang ruins. Mu Yen, she slowly turns her head to look at the little boy in front of her. She only sees the other side looking at her with an expressionless face, his eyes cold, and his little face full of irrepressible anger. Mu Yen, Mo Ju, what did you just do? Mo Ju turns his head, coldly saying, I don't know what you're talking about. Very good. Mu Yen simply wants to laugh in anger. She is now 80% sure that this little boy named Mo Ju is Di Mingju. No wonder Mo Ju would suddenly appear and act very close to her, and then suddenly disappear after meeting Di Mingju. And the person who disappeared for more than a year suddenly reappeared on the Shushin continent. What the hell is Di Mingju doing? Is he afraid that she will recognize him as Mo Ju, so he doesn't want to recognize her? Mu Yen is a bit angry. She has experienced so much on the floating island, and almost lost everything. From the moment she opened her eyes in the submerged abyss, she has been trying to contact Di Mingju. She doesn't know whether Di Mingju is alive or dead, and whether he was seriously injured in order to save her. She had too much pain and grievances that she wanted to tell him. However, this man had found her in the Heavenly Light ruins, yet he had not acknowledged her. Instead, he had secretly watched her earn those ruined crystals for the sake of making the announcement. Mu Yen took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, Do you have anything to say to me? Di Mingju meets her gaze, his heart inexplicably flustered. I merely expelled that pretty boy from Tianguang ruins, yet he's so angry. Why? He, the dignified extreme domain sovereign emperor, could it be that he was not better than that pretty boy? When he looks down and sees his child's body, Di Mingju can't help but grit his teeth in anger, feeling a stabbing pain in his heart. Damn Chang'ing. His figure disappeared on the spot. No, he couldn't wait any longer. He must immediately let Chang'ing change his body. Mu Yen stared in disbelief at Mo Ju's disappearing figure. His hands unconsciously clenched into fists. What the hell is Di Mingju doing? Without any explanation, he just abandoned her and left Tianguang ruins. Or could it be that Mo Ju wasn't Di Mingju? Was everything just her delusion? Mu Yen presses her temples, only feeling that her heart is blocked and flustered. Yi Liangqin, I didn't expect you to be so famous in Tianguang ruins. Chapter 4133. A pleasant female voice interrupts her thoughts, bringing her back to reality. Mu Yan turns to look, only to find that the one speaking is a stunning beauty. Moreover, this person is somewhat familiar. It seems to be the Golden Branch and Jade Leaf, who mistook Di Mingju for her younger brother. Mu Yan doesn't have a good impression of this person, and only says indifferently, "What's the matter?" Anger surges in Yu Yanran's heart. He's just a little devil cultivator, yet he dares to be so cold and perfunctory towards her. Who does he think he is? Yu Yanran's mouth hooks up into a sweet smile, and she steps forward. Yi Liangqin, do you know the true identity of the little boy who left before? Mu Yan narrows her eyes. What is it? Yu Yanran's face reveals a mysterious and treacherous expression, and she slowly opens her mouth. He's a great person that you will never be able to reach in this lifetime. The reason why he looks like a child in Tianguang ruins is because he's under some restraints. Moreover, he belongs to the polar domain, while you're just a lowly demon. I advise you to stay away from him. Speaking up to here, Yu Yanran's face shows strong contempt and jealousy, and she almost grits her teeth. A man who doesn't want to improve himself, but only wants to climb up to a powerful person, and doesn't even hesitate to sell his own body to be pressed down by another man. Are all your fiends so shameless? Mu Yan's eyes suddenly burst with a cold light. Watch your mouth. What? Did I say something wrong? Yu Yanran sneers. Didn't you approach Mo Ju to seduce him? Didn't you already know that Mo Ju's identity isn't simple? After being stepped on by Bailey Wei Ran that day, Yu Yanran went mad with anger. She couldn't wait to leave Tianguang ruins and never return. But thinking of Di Mingju, she still suppressed the anger in her heart and looked everywhere. In the end, she saw a scene where her eyes were about to split open. The boy's small figure suddenly becomes big. He tightly grasps the youth's hand, and his posture is so strong that he almost half hugs him, not allowing him to escape. That face has been restored to the incomparably handsome appearance that makes people ecstatic. His ice blue eyes are red with flames as he stares intently at the youth in his arms. The bottom of his eyes is completely undisguised possessiveness. Then, Di Mingju's deep and hoarse voice reaches her ears at the same time. Wait for me to find you. You're not allowed to marry anyone else. Only when Di Mingju's figure completely disappears and Yi Liangqin also leaves, does Yu Yanran suddenly come back to her senses. She was shocked, angry, jealous, and hateful. How could this be? Why was this happening? That was a man. On top of that, he was just a small demon who was participating in the demon race's princess's groom selection in a futile attempt to curry favor with the nobles. So you're admitting to seducing Mo Ju? Mu Yan nodded in realization. So you pretended to mistake Mo Ju for your brother to seduce her. TSK, did you change your appearance after entering the Tianguang ruins? You can't even seduce someone like that, so you came to fight with a man like me for a woman's affection. Don't tell me that human spirit cultivators are all trash and shameless like you. Yu Yanran did not expect this little demon to have such a venomous mouth. Her face turned pale. She raised her voice. Yi Liangqin, who do you think you are? How dare you be so rude to me? The two of them were talking on the rebirth square in the nether area. At first, no one paid attention to them. At this time, Yu Yanran raised her voice, immediately attracting the attention of others. Yu Yanran's eyes were red, and tears rolled down her cheeks. Paired with her stunning appearance, it was truly lovely and touching, making people feel pity for her. Chapter 4135. Many spirit cultivators in the nether region couldn't help but gather around, their faces revealing an unbearable expression. Their gazes towards Mayan were filled with hostility. Yu Yanran didn't seem to notice that so many people had gathered around. Her voice trembled as she pleaded, "I'll tell you the truth. Mo Ju is my fiancé. Due to some reasons, he forgot about me. I've been thinking of ways to cure him and make him remember me again. But I didn't expect that while I was working hard, someone would interfere and want to seduce my fiancé. Moreover, this person is a man. Yi Liangchen, I beg you, stay away from my fiancé. Didn't you already decide to become the princess's son-in-law? Why won't you let my fiancé go? Could it be that as long as you see a powerful person, you want to attach yourself to him and even sell your body?" Whoosh! The surroundings were in an uproar. What do you mean? A man seducing someone else's fiancé? Wait, did you guys hear that this beauty said he's called Yi Liangchen? That Yi Liangchen who threatened to slaughter everyone on the reputation list of Tianguang ruins? As soon as this was said, someone immediately sneered. They looked at Mayan with disdain and hostility. A mere demon wants to slaughter everyone on the nether region's reputation list. Isn't that a fool's dream? Hee, I heard that Wanwu's sect was defeated by this kid, so you think you can do whatever you want in the nether region? You're really a frog at the bottom of a well. Kid, don't think that you can do whatever you want in the nether region just because you slaughtered the reputation list of those trash in the limitless region. Don't you know that the entire Tianguang ruins is the territory of the nether region? Do you want me to teach you what it means to say that there's always someone better than you? Yu Yanran interrupted at the right time. Fellow Taoists of the nether region, thank you for standing up for me. But don't go against this Yi Liangchen. He has a lot of treasures in his hands, and some of them were swindled from my fiancé. Even with the weakening of the 9 luminaries lunar, his insidious methods that can't be guarded against might injure you guys and defeat you. As she said, she looked at Mayan with red eyes. Yi Liangchen, haven't you taken enough benefits from my fiancé? What will make you agree to leave him? A man giving himself to another man, don't you feel ashamed? Mu Yan could not help but want to applaud Yu Yanran. This method, this scheming, this art of speech, simply surpassed Lu Ruoxuan in the past. Most importantly, Lu Ruoxuan's appearance was delicate and pitiful. But the gold branch and jade leaf in front of him had a bit of arrogance on her face. Even though he was begging, he was acting high and mighty, and his eyes were filled with disdain. Mu Yan was very curious. Just who was this person? Is she really Di Mingju's fiancé? Extreme ruthlessness and irritation surged in his heart. The voices of the people around her, which were deliberately amplified, entered her ears bit by bit. I really thought that a rare genius had appeared in the demon race. It turns out that he relied on selling his buttocks to obtain treasures. That's why he can be so arrogant in the arena. What's so good about men? That fiancé must be blind. He actually didn't want such a delicate beauty and chose a demon brat. You don't know, do you? The demon race is the most shameless, using all kinds of seductive methods, even disregarding the moral principles. Really disgusting. A normal person would not be able to withstand this group of lunatics. The people of the nether region all retreated, and no one dared to speak up for Yu Yanran. Boss, is this the woman who stole your man? Lu sized Yu Yanran up and down, his face full of disdain. Don't human women boast that they are as beautiful as goddesses? In the end, she couldn't even compare to Boss in terms of face, and she still had the nerve to snatch Boss man. He doesn't even know how to pee and look at himself. Yu Yanran was fuming with anger. Is your demon race always inverting black and white like this? Don't you have any shame? Stealing someone else's fiancé and you still take pride in it. Ludus said seriously, that depends on whether your fiancé is worth robbing. That's right, if the one you steal is trash, then wouldn't you be laughed at by the other demons? Chapter 4137. If it's really good enough, like the polar domain sovereign, I can brag about it for 10,000 years if I snatch it, wahahaha. Mu Yan almost laughed out loud. The frustration and irritation in her heart gradually disappeared amidst the noise around her. She hadn't stayed in the hidden abyss for a long time, but she seemed to have started to like these cute demons. Mu Yan looked at Yu Yanran and said slowly, since you all say I snatch men, there should be a process of snatching, right? I think we might as well play big. Aunt Jing, lend me your Ruins Lord's token. Jing Ruffing walked out from the crowd, her graceful figure graceful. She said coquettishly, so annoying, how can little Chin Chin learn from that kid Bailey and call me Aunt Jing? I like hearing you call me Sister Ruffing. Sister Ruffing, can you sell me your Ruins Lord's token? Jing Ruffing took out the Ruins Lord's token, without hesitation and stuffed it into Mu Yan's arms. Here, for you. I'm not selling it, I'm giving it to you, little Chin Chin. Saying so, her charming eyes swept past Yu Yanran, her red lips slowly hooking up. Little Chin Chin, you must ruthlessly slap that slut's face for me to see. I hate those pretentious human female cultivators who can give me goosebumps with every word they say. This kind of trash isn't even fit to carry my little Chin Chin's shoes. A smile flitted through Mu Yan's eyes, and she nodded. Don't worry, I'll let Sister Ruffing see my one-stop service of slapping faces, abusing scum, and slaughtering rankings. What was a one-stop service? Jing Ruffing didn't understand, but that didn't prevent her from understanding the meaning of Mu Yan's words. She couldn't help but tremble with laughter, feeling that this future little son-in-law was too much to her liking. Yu Yanran said angrily, you demons are really jackalls of the same tribe, you don't know what propriety and honor are. Yi Liangchen, you clearly know that Mo Ju is my fiancé, but you still want to steal my love. Do you think that this kind of shameless behavior can be covered up with a demon's true temperament? Everyone in the nether region nodded. For spirit cultivators, ethics and morality, propriety and honor were deeply engraved in their souls. Was it immoral for two men to be together? Stealing someone else's fiancé was shameless. These devils were really uncivilized barbarians, a group of livestock, only fit to live in the dark abyss. However, at this moment, a deep and cold male voice suddenly rang out. Like a sharp blade slicing through the air, that magnetic and pleasant voice that caused people to tremble in fear smashed into everyone's ears. What are you? Are you worthy of being called Ben Jun's fiancé? Everyone's eyes were focused on the source of the voice. Following that, a series of gasps could be heard in the square. It was a tall man dressed in black. His face was covered with a mask, so no one could see his face clearly. But just the high nose bridge and thin lips that were exposed to the outside already had a breathtaking charm. The black clothes stuck to his body, outlining the perfect figure of the man. Those slender and straight legs, that strong but not thin waist, those muscles that were attached to the outline of the body, there was not a single inch that was not perfect, there was not a single inch that did not make people's hearts palpitate. However, the most shocking thing was the natural aura that the man exuded. A monarch descending upon the world, no one dared to disobey. Even Tianguang ruins seemed to slightly tremble, attacking their souls. Chapter 4138. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu is suddenly unable to find this site today. Everyone, including the previously arrogant demons, are all stupefied. At this moment, there's only one thought in everyone's mind. Who is this man? Di Mingju completely ignores the gazes around him and goes straight to Mu Yan. He grabs her hand and pulls her in front of him. That tender and laughable child's body can't do anything. At this moment, he could finally put Xiao Xiang into action, which he had desired for a long time. However, before he can pull her into his arms, his chest is pressed against. Di Mingju frowns, lowering his eyes to look at the youth's exquisite features. He says in a hoarse voice, "I am Mo Ju." "Fuck you, Mo Ju." Mu Yan can't wait to ruthlessly bite this man. If this man in front of her isn't Di Mingju, she would twist her head off. But this man has deceived her time and time again, and even now, he still doesn't want to recognize her. Mu Yan is so angry that she wants to laugh. Fine. Mo Ju, right? She wants to see how long this scoundrel wants to play with her. Mu Yan's figure flashes and she breaks free from his embrace. She points at Yu Yanran with the hilt of her sword and says with a smile that isn't a smile, "Mo Ju, right? I think you've got the wrong person, right? That one over there is your fiancé. I don't seem to have any relationship with you." Di Mingju's arms are empty, feeling as if his heart is empty. Hearing the youth's words, he immediately says coldly, "Ben Jun doesn't have a fiancé." His gaze turns to Yu Yanran, the disgust in his eyes overflowing. "Who do you think you are, daring to call yourself my fiancé?" All of a sudden, shocked gazes focus on Yu Yanran. After a moment of shock, the demons can't help but laugh out loud. Damn it, this is so funny. This woman has been rambling for half a day, but it's all just talking to herself. A human spirit cultivator dares to say that we're shameless. I think they don't even know what shame is, right? Ha 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 ha. How can you steal my fiancé, Mo Ju? Ugh, this old lady almost believed it. Even the people of the nether region were stunned. They looked at Yu Yanran with complicated gazes. This woman was quite pretty, but he didn't expect her to be so. It was bad enough that she pretended to be someone else's fiancé, but she was also jealous of a male demon. Yu Yanran's body was on the verge of collapse, and her soul was so unstable that it almost wanted to retreat out of the Tianguang ruins. With tears in her eyes, she looks pleadingly at Di Mingju, her expression incomparably miserable and pitiful. Ju Gij, do you really not remember me? Brother Ju. The corners of Mayan's mouth slowly hooks up, but her eyes are overflowing with a dense chill. This form of address was really intimate. Di Mingju looks at Mayan and quickly says, "Ben Jun is not familiar with her." Mu Yan sneers, "What does it have to do with me whether you're familiar with her or not?" Yu Yanran was so angry that she almost crushed her teeth. These two people exchanged flirtatious glances, flirting with each other, and actually completely disregarded her. The onlookers kept pointing at her and gossiping about her. Those devils who wished for the world to be in chaos were even more unbridled in their ridicule. Yu Yanran was so angry that her body was shaking. She stared at Yap Liangchen with hatred in her eyes. A strong killing intent rose in his eyes. This slut, she's going to kill him. She's definitely going to kill him. Feeling the malicious gaze, Di Mingju's eyes turn cold. He turns around and is about to move. His clothes are suddenly pulled by someone, and he's pushed to the side. A youth dressed in white slowly steps forward. Chapter 41-39. A youngster in white slowly walks forward. As he passes by, he gives him a cold look. "My business has nothing to do with Mo Ju. Go away, or do you want to support your fiancé? Di Mingju. Ben Jun doesn't have a fiancé. Hee, very good, no fiancé. That's great." Mu Yan glares at him, then walks straight to Yu Yanran. Di Mingju is at a loss. and also annoyed. There's also an indescribable throbbing in his heart. Is the youngster being angry with him? Although he doesn't know the reason, this lively appearance seems to bring the distance between the two of them closer. It makes him want to press the person into his arms, and fiercely block that irritating mouth. Thinking of this, Jun Shangdaren's ears slightly redden. Then, as if nothing has happened, he focuses his gaze on the youngster, not willing to leave for even a second. As Mu Yan walks towards Yu Yanran, she gently tosses the Ruins Lord's command in her hand. A slightly husky and sweet-sounding voice carelessly says, "Let's get back to the main topic. Since we're going to snatch a man, there must be a process of snatching. It just so happens that I'm tired of fighting one duel after another. How about we play a big game today?" Saying that, she tosses the Ruins Lord's command forward. A ray of light instantly radiates from the Ruins Lord's command, enveloping the entire Nether District's reincarnation square. Everyone's ears hear the mechanical and flat voice of Tianguang Ruins. Special user Yi Liang Qin invites you to participate in the one-on-many group duel. The starting bet is 10 prestige points, no upper limit. Would you like to participate? What does that mean? One-on-many group duel. Demon King Yi, how come we received it too? Could it be that you want to fight against so many of us by yourself? Mu Yan lightly slashes the 7 absolute sword in her hand to the side, drawing out a beautiful and elegant sword flower. With his other hand, he crooked his index finger and hooked it at all the people and demons present. What? You don't dare. The people of the Nether District look at each other, thinking that this youngster is crazy. On the other hand, Yu Yanran's heart skipped a beat and she even forgot to cry. She straightened her back and stared at Yi Liangqin. "Yi Liangqin, if you lose, you will leave Mo Ju. Do you agree?" Mu Yan smirked. "Fine. If I lose, Yi Liangqin will never see Mo Ju again." Yu Yanran was overjoyed. This Yap Liangqin was too arrogant and underestimated his opponent. He didn't know that he was a celestial king-level spirit cultivator. Moreover, the attribute of the domain was between the 9 planets lunar and 9 planets Sunday. Even in the Nether region, it would not be too restricted. Even if it was a one-on-one battle, she was not afraid of such a yellow-haired boy. Not to mention one against many. Yap Liangqin was courting death. On the side, Di Mingju's face turns black with anger when he hears this. Yi Liangqin would never see Mo Ju again. How could he say such cruel words? At this moment, he could not wait to capture this heartless youth and punish him severely. But in the end, he still restrained himself. He only sneered in his heart and thought, if worst comes to worst, I'll kill all these people in the end. I'll be the one to win, and the final conditions will naturally be decided by me. Yu Yanran sneered and chose to accept the duel. She did not forget to incite the spirit cultivators of the Nether District. Do you really want to watch a demon behave atrociously in your territory? Chapter 4140. The faces of everyone in the Nether region changed when they heard this. If Yi Liangqin really massacred everyone in the Nether region's prestige ranking, where would they put their faces? Now was the best chance to get rid of him and make him fall from the high ground. However, before everyone in the Nether region accepted the duel, the demons had already accepted the challenge with strange cries, and then rushed towards Yi Liangqin. Great Demon King, since you proposed this duel, then I won't be polite. I have long wanted to fight with the Great Demon King, but I didn't have the chance. Thus, everyone in the Nether region was dumbfounded as they watched the demons, who just bowed down to Yi Liangqin, rush up one by one, and raise their weapons, as if they wanted to tear that youth to pieces. Wait a minute. Isn't this the hero you worship, the idol you follow? What's going on with them attacking their followers without hesitation? Mu Yan didn't feel surprised at this scene, and her eyes emitted a bright light. The 7 absolute swords flew into the air, and suddenly turned into 7 swords, scattering in all directions. Her figure also disappeared on the spot like a ghost, and she fought with the demons that swarmed toward her. Jing Ruffing and Lu De didn't accept the duel. As the area manager of the demon region, Jing Ruffing couldn't participate in the duel. And Lu De and the others simply knew Mu Yan's strength, and didn't want to humiliate themselves. Jing Ruffing looked at the handsome youth shuttling between the tall demons, and his expression was blurred and intoxicated. What a wonderful figure. He really enjoys the battle, and can break through continuously in battle. Just like Lord Demon Lord back then. Lu De licked his lips at the side, and gloated, that bunch of idiots, they actually dared to fight with Boss Yi. They're dead for sure, ahahaha. About a quarter of an hour later, the demons surrounding Mu Yan started to be kicked out one by one. These demons were either missing arms or legs, or their figures were illusory, and almost couldn't continue to exist in the Tianguang ruins. Mu Yan's expression became more and more carefree and unrestrained. She seemed to be slowly grasping the essence of the 9 luminaries lunar. Fortunately, she had experienced little martial uncle's domain before. And her star domain could not only devour the energy of other domains. It could even simulate the energy fluctuations of any domain in the world. When Mu Yan adjusts the form of her domain to be completely synchronized with the 9 luminaries lunar. These devils, whose strength had been restricted by the 9 glory moon in the nether region, were no longer strong enough. Mu Yan seemed to have swept away all obstacles and directly knocked him out of the game. Only then did the people of the nether region react. They all took out their magic treasures and rushed forward. Bullying with numbers. Attrition warfare. He couldn't care less about these things. They would never allow a single demon youth to challenge their entire nether region. Otherwise, when Yi Liangchen's name suppressed everyone in Tianguang ruins, how could the nether district dominate? How was he going to survive in Tianguang ruins in the future? The battle this time was obviously not as simple as the one with the devil race. The spirit cultivators of the nether region were all strengthened by the 9 luminaries lunar attribute. There was no lack of experts above the profound immortal stage. Their souls weren't as strong as Mu Yan's, and their battle prowess wasn't as amazing as Mu Yan's. But they won in numbers. The low-level cultivators desperately entangled Mu Yan's movements, and those profound immortals could quietly sneak attack Mu Yan, catching her unprepared. Chapter 41-41. In just a short moment, Mayan's body is already covered with many wounds. Her white clothes are gradually dyed red with blood. Di Mingju, who is watching the battle from the side, tightly clenches his fists in his sleeves. There is only one thought in his mind, and that is to dismember all the spirit cultivators of the nether region, and turn them into ashes. However, when his gaze came into contact with the young man's slightly red cheeks and bright eyes, this thought was forcefully suppressed by him. He is enjoying the battle. Yes, even if he is covered with cuts and bruises, and is in a precarious situation. Even if he is besieged by so many people, even if there are strong enemies waiting in the rear. But this seemingly weak youth is immersed in the joy of battle, without any fear or retreat. Instead, he is constantly growing. He is invincible. Di Mingju's tightly clenched hands slowly loosens, and his brows reveal a bone-piercing gentleness that even he himself didn't notice. He only wants to hold such a youth in his arms and treasure him well, not letting anyone covet and snatch him away. Mayan feels a gust of wind behind her. She narrowly avoids it, but there is still a burning pain coming from her back. Her body can't help but sway for a moment. She barely stands and turns her head to look. She sees Yu Yanran, who is holding two blades, looking at her expressionlessly. Seeing Mayan looking over, the corners of Yu Yanran's mouth slowly hooks up into a cold arc. Yi Liangchen, do you regret being too arrogant now? If you directly admit defeat now, at least you can retreat from this duel in one piece. Mayan wipes away the blood and sweat on her face. She throws the long sword in her hand, grabs it with a backhand grip, and suddenly stabs backwards. A scream comes from behind. Another person is eliminated, and leaves Qingguang ruins. The youth in white clothes is covered with wounds, but he still has a disdainful smile on his face. He hooks his finger at the people of the nether region again. What are you standing there for? Continue. He completely ignores Yu Yanran. Yu Yanran is going mad with anger. Her hatred for this Yi Liangchen even exceeds that of Jun Mayan. On the contrary, the way the people of the nether region look at Yi Liangchen has completely changed. They originally thought that he is just an unruly demon youth. But they didn't expect that he would be so tyrannical. Under the 9 glory moon of their nether world, he fought alone against a group of heroes, not retreating even half a step, not showing the slightest fear. If not for this group battle, there was no doubt who would be at the top of the nether region's reputation ranking. One of the mystic immortals hammered his sword on the ground and cupped his fists, saying in a deep voice, "We admire fellow Daoist Ye's strength, and we're ashamed of our inferiority. But today's battle concerns the reputation of our nether region, so we have no choice but to bully you with numbers. What's the point of talking so much nonsense?" Mayan sneers and slowly steps forward. The original one figure seemed to have split into 2, 3, and even countless figures. This is the Shin musician's skill, shocking lotus step by step, that she has comprehended. Although it was not as heaven-defying as lotus steps, it was still so fast that ordinary golden immortals and mystic immortals could not catch it with their naked eyes. I started this duel because I wanted to fight to my heart's content. Are you going to fight or not? Everyone in the nether region felt a sense of pride and immediately shouted, "Fight!" The figures of the two sides instantly intertwined and became a ball of battle. Although it was bullying with numbers, it was still a fair and square battle. As for Yu Yanran, who only knew how to sneak attack in such a battlefield, she was thrown to the back of everyone's mind. Chapter 41-42. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu is suddenly unable to find this site today. Yu Yanran gritted her teeth so hard that her body was trembling with extreme anger. Her eyes flashed with venomous light. Suddenly, she steals her heart, and something quietly falls between her fingers. A cold light flashes, and then disappears without a trace. Di Mingju seems to have sensed something, and looks at her coldly. Just as he's about to move, he hears a beeping sound. He sneers and stops moving. His line of sight continues to focus on the fighting youth, and he doesn't bother to spare Yu Yanran a single bit. This battle lasts for more than an hour. The demons cheering for Mu Yan on the side are all hoarse from shouting. The last spirit cultivator from the nether region props up his tottering body and chooses to admit defeat. He's a profound immortal with a very high cultivation. Before the battle started, he was full of anger and arrogance. He just wanted to ruthlessly knock this demon youth down, and let him know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. But after the battle, he's already full of admiration for Yi Liangchen. The strength of little friend Ye's soul is something I've never seen in my life. I wholeheartedly accept my loss, and the nether region also wholeheartedly accept my loss. The youth's white clothes have long lost their original color. Wounds of all sizes are everywhere on his body. But even so, he's still standing proudly, his figure solid, without the slightest flaw. In other words, his soul is still stable. After a pause, this person says in a clear voice, from now on, Yi Liangqin is the strongest in the nether region. No, it should be said that from now on, Yi Liangqin is the strongest in Tianguang ruins, the only one. With that, this person chooses to admit defeat, and elegantly retreats to the side. Ah! Someone from the demon race immediately screams, "Long live Demon King Yi! Demon King Yi, you're the strongest!" There are also those who rushed over from the limitless region who heard the news, and also shouted, "Great God Yi," and then led the people of the nether region to shout as well. For a moment, the shouts and screams almost overturned the entire Tianguang ruins. As for Yu Yanran, who hasn't fought with Mu Yan yet, she's already forgotten. Others might forget, but Mayan wouldn't. She lowered her sword slightly, and her cold gaze landed on Yu Yanran. "Before we start fighting, do you have anything else to say?" Yu Yanran's face was expressionless. She was wearing a long skirt, and her charming face was slightly flushed. As she slowly walks towards Mayan, her long skirt brushes against the ground, making her figure even more graceful, swaying gracefully. It was as if she was a delicate and charming woman. There was no threat or malicious intent, so there was no need to be on guard. However, when she's only a few steps away from Mayan, the expression on his face suddenly turned ferocious. A cold light shoots out from her palm towards Mayan. Mu Yan has been waiting for a long time. Almost at the same time that Yu Yanran makes her move, she slashes her sword horizontally. With a clang, a pungent sour smell filled the air, causing Mu Yan's expression to change slightly. This was the burning water that could corrode the divine soul. Once contaminated with the burning water, whether it was a spirit cultivator or a devil, their 3 souls and 7 spirits would immediately be damaged. If it was light, their strength would greatly decline, and if it was heavy, they would become an idiot. In Tianguang ruins, it was strictly forbidden to use this kind of poison that deliberately damaged the divine soul. Once it was used, it would be severely punished. Therefore, Mu Yan didn't expect that this golden branch in jade leaf would actually be crazy to this extent. She would rather suffer the punishment of Tianguang ruins, just to destroy her. Chapter 41-43. Yu Yanran's face revealed a sinister and twisted smile. So what if she was punished by Tianguang ruins? At least she could watch Yi Liangqin, that slut, turn into an idiot. She wanted to see how an idiot could seduce the emperor. But the next moment, Yu Yanran's smile froze on her face. An invisible shield appeared around the young man, completely blocking the burning water that was splashed over. A few drops even splashed back and fell on Yu Yanran's face. She let out a heart-wrenching scream, covering her face and falling to the ground. Her face, which was originally smooth and creamy, was now riddled with bloody holes, making her look exceptionally ugly. Yu Yanran didn't even have time to react. She heard Tianguang ruins' inherent cold and mechanical voice. User Jin Ji Yuyi used the prohibited item, incineration water, and attacked special user Yi Liangqin. She has seriously violated Tianguang ruins' rules. She is now given a first-level punishment and will be permanently banished from Tianguang ruins. This voice rang in everyone's ears. As soon as the voice fell, the thunderclouds that had been waiting in the air immediately rained down lightning, all striking Yu Yanran. Amidst the blood-curdling screams, Yu Yanran's figure gradually faded and disappeared. Her soul was struck by the divine lightning, and she was directly banished from Tianguang ruins. Everyone present couldn't help but swallow their saliva. Was a first-level punishment so terrifying? Why did they feel that Tianguang ruins especially hated this Jin Ji Yuyi? It took a while for everyone to recover from their shock. Then they heard someone shout, "So, great God, you won this duel." One person directly defeated hundreds of demons and the entire nether region. Wait, it seems not. That person is also in the arena. Mu Yan slowly turned around and looked at the man standing not far away. Even if he wore a mask, even if he deliberately restrained his aura, it couldn't completely conceal his noble and peerless elegance. Mu Yan looked at him deeply, her eyes slightly hot. At least she now knew that Di Mingju was still safe and sound. Her body suddenly seemed to lose its strength, swaying slightly, almost falling down. The man who was still in the distance suddenly disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was already holding the youth in his arms. Mayan looks up at him, reaching out to stroke his masked face, wanting to call out to Di Mingju. Thinking that they were currently in the Tianguang ruins within the nether domain sphere of influence, he only said softly, "It's great that you're fine." Di Mingju looks at the youngster in his arms who is riddled with scars, as well as his clothes that have been dyed red with blood. His heart aches. Fortunately, this was only Tianguang ruins. Once the duel was over, these injuries would heal. He hugged her tightly and said in a hoarse voice, "You're not allowed to marry the princess, and you're not allowed to participate in the groom selection anymore. Do you hear me? Mu Yan, Di Mingju, that's enough." Instead of exchanging warm greetings after a long separation, "You're getting jealous? Are you crazy?" Thinking of the beauty who had just called him a brother Ju, she couldn't help but grind her teeth. She turned around and struggled out of the man's arms, sneering, "What if I have to participate?" Before he could finish his words, his vision blurred. Someone had already grabbed his wrist, and his body felt light as he was pressed heavily against the tower in the middle of the square. The scorching kiss instantly stopped her breathing and completely drowned her reason. After a long time, the man slowly let go of her. Regardless of whether it was to protect the burning death water from hurting her, or to help her deal with the people from the myriad electrocution sect. Little Sue had always been shy and did not dare to come out to see her, but had always been protecting her from behind. Mu Yan took another look at the Spirit Ruins paradise and muttered, "Since the owner of Tianguang Ruins isn't here, I'll go in next time to receive my reward." Little Sue said softly, "Little Sue will definitely think of a way to contact Master. Xiuxian Continent, Netherworld region." When Yuqin received the news from Tianguang Ruins, he couldn't help but reveal a surprised expression. Someone had actually managed to combine the 3 prestige leaderboards into one. Yi Liangqin. He seemed to have never heard of this name before. And it was actually a demon. Chapter 41-46. Due to unknown reasons, this site is suddenly unavailable on Sogu today. Please remember this site's domain name, Book C Pavilion, and find your way home. The only person who could open the Spirit Ruins paradise was the true owner of the Tianguang Ruins, Luo Yunxiao. Even if he was the owner of the ruins and could control the life and death of every cultivator in the Tianguang Ruins, he still couldn't completely control the Tianguang Ruins. But at the thought of the first prince, who had completely changed, Yuqin couldn't help but sigh. He slowed down and walked toward the sleeping chamber where Luo Yunxiao was. On the way, he met Elder Pei Nan, whose cultivation was similar to his. Hearing that he was going to report to the new domain lord about the Tianguang ruins, he followed him. "I also have something to report to the domain lord." As soon as they reached the door of the hall, a magical beast sprang out and let out a sharp voice, "Why are you looking for Master?" It was a magical beast that looked exactly like Qi Wen. But upon a closer look, it didn't have any aura of a living creature. Its every move seemed sluggish and rigid. It wasn't a real magical beast, but a puppet. Yuchen felt a stabbing pain in his heart when he thought of the noisy magical beast that used to accompany the first prince. That magical beast was already dead, and would never come back. And the cold, indifferent, but kind-hearted first prince would never be able to return. But who was to blame for all of this? Yuchen followed Chi-Wen into the hall in a daze. A white-robed man was drawing a formation. The window was open, and his long silver hair fluttered in the wind. His handsome face, which could captivate all living things in the world, was half covered, and it was breathtaking. However, when the man raised his head, Yuchen and Pei Nan looked into that pair of blood-red eyes, and instantly felt as if ice water had been poured over them. All the amazement and confusion turned into fear in an instant. Yuchen licked his lips and swallowed before saying respectfully, "Domain Lord, there's news from the Tianguang ruins. Someone has combined the 3 lists into one, achieved a new achievement, and obtained the Jade Key of the Spirit Ruins. But the opening of the Spirit Ruins Paradise requires Master to go in person, I wonder." Luo Yunxiao's face revealed a stunned expression. There was clearly no fluctuation in her eyes. But when Yuchen stole a glance at the pair of blood-red eyes, he felt as if there was a heart-piercing sorrow and despair flowing within them. Chi-Wen rubbed her head against Luo Yunxiao and called out, "Master." Luo Yunxiao came back to her senses and her long eyelashes slowly drooped. Her elegant voice carried a bone-piercing chill as she said, "Tell little Su that the Spirit Ruins Paradise will never open again." Yuchen choked. He opened his mouth but couldn't say anything for a long time. He wanted to say that if they should be rewarded or punished, the Nether Realm would lose its power in the Tianguang ruins. But, so what? Whether the Nether world was good or bad, flourishing or perishing, would this person in front of him care? Not slaughtering everyone in the imperial court of the Nether world was already his last mercy. Yuchen sighed softly and swallowed the words that were at the tip of his tongue. Pei Nan walked towards Luo Yunxiao and said, "Regent Lord, this subordinate also has something to report." Swish. A cold light flickered as a blood-red dagger appeared in Pei Nan's fingertips. She stabbed it towards Luo Yunxiao's heart. "Luo Yunxiao, go to hell." Yuchen's eyes suddenly widened as his heart almost jumped out of his throat. He didn't even know whether he was worried about Pei Nan or Luo Yunxiao at this moment. Puchi. The dagger pierced into Luo Yunxiao's chest. Blood flowed out and merged with the blood-red blade. Chapter 41-47. Luo Yunxiao's handsome face remained expressionless from beginning to end as he quietly looked at Pei Nan's ferocious face. The dagger was coated in poison as it pierced through Luo Yunxiao's heart. However, a black flame sprang up from the dagger and instantly climbed onto Pei Nan's hand. Ah! A heart-wrenching scream sounded as Pei Nan rolled around in the sleeping chamber. Yuchen's lips trembled as he watched his former good friend's arm being swallowed by the Netherrealm's sacred flame. Even his body began to disappear. He looked in horror at Luo Yunxiao and knelt on the ground. "Domain Lord, please spare his life. He just doesn't want the Nether Realm to truly decline." Yuchen knew Pei Nan's thoughts too well. He wanted the Nether Realm to be strong enough to surpass the polar domain and unify the 3 realms. If Yin Wuji could do it, he would support Yin Wuji. After Yin Wuji was defeated by Luo Yunxiao, he would support Luo Yunxiao. But Pei Nan didn't think that Luo Yunxiao didn't want the Nether Realm to prosper. He only wanted to see the Nether Realm completely destroyed. So Pei Nan went crazy. Even if he knew he would die, he still wanted to kill Luo Yunxiao and restore everything to how it was before. Yuchen's eyes were filled with pleading. He did wrong, but his intentions were good. He only did it for the Nether Realm. Luo Yunxiao looked at him indifferently, his voice cold and without any ripples. What does it have to do with me? What does it have to do with me? Yu Qin was struck by lightning and couldn't say another word. That's right. What did the Nether Realm's prosperity have to do with him? What did the Nether Realm give him other than him being born? Pain, torture, humiliation, and the loneliness of having nothing. Wasn't it a joke to let such a great haul continue to prosper the Nether Realm? Pei Nan's screams disappeared along with his body. There wasn't even a bone left. Yu Qin left in a daze. Only Luo Yunxiao, who was still drawing the formation, and Qi Wen, who was beside him with a dazed expression, was left in the room. Suddenly, Luo Yunxiao stopped and said, "How long do you want to spy in the dark?" Qi Wen tilted her head slightly. There was no expression in her eyes, but she asked in a puzzled voice, "Master, who are you calling?" In the next moment, several figures landed in front of Luo Yunxiao and knelt on one knee. Fen Tian, Anya Wu, greets Master. Fen Tian, Dark Knight 7, greets Master. Fen Tian, Anya's 11th, greets Master. Luo Yunxiao's gaze fell on them. She frowned slightly and only said one word, "Scram." All three of them were dressed in black, and their faces were wrapped tightly with black cloth. The three of them were obviously stunned when they heard Luo Yunxiao's words. Then the man who called himself Anya 5 hurriedly said, "Master, we are the same as you. We have been tortured by the Hongqian murder. But you are the only one who has fused with the world-exterminating half-soul." Anya's 11th's voice trembled. "We all sensed it when you swallowed the world-destroying half-soul. We, Burning Heaven, have unanimously agreed to respect you as our common master. Only you can lead us to slaughter the Debii temple, kill all those hypocritical immortals, and completely destroy this disgusting world." His words caused the eyes of the three of them to burn with a blazing light. Their bodies were trembling slightly because of excitement. However, Luo Yunxiao's face was expressionless when he heard their words. He just raised the corner of his mouth and smiled gently. Chapter 41-48. This smile made his already handsome face even more enchanting and moving. Fen Tian and the other two were all fascinated. They were impressed by Luo Yunxiao's appearance and strength. It was also the natural surrender of the body that had experienced the mortal tribulation to the world destroyer. However, soon, the man's cold and emotionless voice came into their ears. "What do these things have to do with me?" Anya the 5th said excitedly, "Master, you have experienced the mortal tribulation. Don't you want to take revenge on Debii Temple? Don't you want to destroy the world?" He paused, and his voice became hoarse because of extreme hatred. In order to destroy the world destroyer half-soul, Debii Temple selected thousands of innocent babies and let them become the hosts of the mortal tribulation. Most of them were tortured to death when the last half of their souls left their bodies. Those of us who were lucky enough to survive thought that it was a great gift not to kill us. In Fen Tian, there are also the survivors of the tribes that were persecuted by the so-called decent sects and the fallen evils with deep hatred. We don't want to see peace and prosperity. We don't want to unify the world. We just want all the creatures in the world to die. We're going to make those sanctimonious beasts suffer the pain that we've tasted and sink into hell together with us, doomed eternally. Fen Tian and the other two thought that Luo Yunxiao would unite with them after they said these words. However, the expression of the man sitting at the head of the table was still indifferent and calm. He looked down at the three of them, as if a demon was looking at ants. Since they were demons and ants, how could they be qualified to cooperate with each other? They suddenly realized that it was not that Luo Yunxiao didn't want to take revenge. He was just not interested in cooperating with them. Destroy the world. He alone was enough. Cold sweat rolled down from the foreheads of Fen Tian and the other two. Anya the third suddenly thought of something. He opened his mouth and said with difficulty, "Master, there is still a secret hidden in Debi Temple. Maybe you want to know." Chi Wen immediately asked in a sharp voice, "What secret? Tell us quickly, don't keep us guessing." Anya-san hurriedly said, "Bodhidharma of Debi Temple has a demon immortal weapon called the Resurrection Lamp. With this soul resurrection lamp, as long as we gather enough materials, we can resurrect the dead." Luo Yunshao, who had been absent-mindedly fiddling with the array formation, suddenly stopped. He looked over at him. The soul revival lamp. Feeling the cold gaze, Anya-san's body trembled more violently. "Yes. I'm sure that Debi Temple has the resurrection lamp. Furthermore, they are currently planning to use the soul revival lamp to resurrect someone. We, Fentian, have also planted spies in Debi Temple, which is why I know about this. It's just that I haven't gathered all the materials yet, so I haven't started yet." Anya-san slowly raised his head, and his eyes were filled with adoration, desire, and temptation. He said word by word, "Master, do you have a wish that you want to realize? Do you have anyone you want to resurrect? Go kill all the bald donkeys from Debi Temple and snatch the lamp of resurrection from them. We, Fentian, are willing to become the blade and sword in your hands, to charge and break through the enemy lines for you, and to help you become the one and only demon king of annihilation in this world." Shoshian Continent, southeast border. The first rays of dawn had just risen from the east, illuminating the entire land. Chapter 41-49. Many people in the Si-Ching tribe had already gotten up and were busy going in and out. Suddenly, the cultivator on guard saw a figure rapidly approaching and immediately shouted, "Who's there?" When the figure got closer, he found that it was a young and handsome monk. He was wearing a golden red kasaya, which made him look even more handsome, with red lips and white teeth. But there was tiredness and vicissitudes in his eyes. However, even a monk was not allowed to get close at will. The guard was about to scold him and leave, but he heard his companion call out in surprise, "Master Jing Yuan, is that you?" A month ago, Elder Hugu of the Si-Ching tribe led a team out, but accidentally encountered a group of corpse puppets. When they were almost wiped out, a monk saved them. And the guard who called out was one of the survivors who went out with the team. The Si-Ching tribe was actually quite xenophobic, but they still expressed a warm welcome to their savior. But somehow, they always felt that the little monk's face did not have the vitality that he had when they met last time. His eyebrows seemed to be soaked with sorrow and sadness. "Amitba." Jing Yuan bowed slightly to a little girl and said in a hoarse and soft voice, "Miss Wu Meng, last time you said you saw my second brother and his disciple in the Mo Mountain. Could you please take me there?" Wu Meng's little face turned red and she nodded quickly, "Of course. But I can't remember clearly. Maybe I can't find them." Jing Yuan slowly exhaled and said, "It doesn't matter. As long as you are willing to lead the way, I will be very grateful." His fingers slowly squeezed the Buddha beads in his palm. Jing Yuan would never have thought that he had not found his second brother and had not asked his master to return to secular life. But his second brother suddenly passed away. Both his master and eldest brother seemed to know how second brother died. But no one was willing to tell him the truth. Eldest brother only told him that the resurrection lamp of Debi Temple could resurrect second brother, but it needed many rare treasures as fuel, and it also needed things that were contaminated with second brother's breath. Eldest brother would send people to collect and search for those fuel. But the things that were contaminated with second brother's breath were no longer in Debi Temple. After all, second senior brother had left Debi Temple for so many years. Therefore, Jing Yuan hurriedly returned to the Si-Ching tribe, hoping that Wu Meng could lead him to the place where second senior martial brother used to live. The people of Si Qing's tribe were very grateful to Jing Yuan. They repeatedly told Wu Meng to help Jing Yuan. Given Jing Yuan's level of cultivation, others would need a flying magical artifact. He just grabbed Dark Dream's clothes and teleported, disappearing from where he was. Huo Gu had always been brooding over owing Grandmaster Jing Yuan a favor. As he watched the two of them leave, he couldn't help but smile. At this moment, a person hurriedly ran towards Huo Gu. "Elder, the female cultivator you brought back woke up." Huo Gu was startled, the female cultivator with the aura of the Wushang flame. She survived. Chapter 41-51. The old man rolled his eyes. How many demon masters are there in the nebulous cloud city? How many of them can even destroy my top-notch demon core crystal? Do you think I can't tell if you're a man or a woman? I'm old, but I'm not blind yet. Mayan coughs lightly. I really had no choice but to dress up as a man to participate in the marriage selection. Please keep this matter a secret. All right, I'm not interested in other people's business. What's more, the Mabe and magic cores you brought have long surpassed the value of magic cores. Take the extra money as my hush money, lass. Only then does Mu Yen breathe a sigh of relief. In fact, back in Bloodflame City, the owner of the Monster Core inspection house had also seen through his identity. However, the boss was even more valiant. He directly asked, "So what if I'm the evil woman?" "As long as you are strong enough, you are qualified to marry the princess." What was the relationship between a man and a woman? Recently, Mu Yan has been staying in the hidden abyss for a long time, and her thoughts have gradually been assimilated by the demon race. However, even she was amazed by the eccentricities of the devil race. Mu Yan smiled at the old man and said goodbye to him before leaving. A low voice came from behind. What does it matter if it's a man or a woman? Anyway, no one can marry the princess. Mayan stares blankly. What does that mean? But this old man had always been mysterious, and the dilapidated house was really too smelly. Even if he blocked his sense of smell, he still couldn't bear it. Mu Yan did not ask any more questions, but turned around and left. When the old man saw that she had walked far away, the corner of his lips curled up. He took out all the devil cores from his chinkuan bag and stuffed them all into his mouth. If Mu Yan was still here, she would already be dumbstruck. Is there anyone who eats magic pills like this? Although these magic pills were all beneficial to the human body, their effects were different and their medicinal strength was strong. If he were to eat so many magic danes at the same time, not to mention whether their attributes would clash with each other. Even the majestic medicinal power was not something that the old man's frail body and damaged monster core could withstand. However, the old man acted as if he could not feel anything. He puffed up his thin cheeks and swallowed all of the magic cores. The medicine took effect, and a burning pain came from every part of his body. The monster core revolved quickly, and a huge stream of air revolved around the monster core, as if it wanted to burst out of his body. The old man curled up in the garbage, and the pain made his whole body spasm. However, he did not groan. Instead, he laughed out loud. However, this laughter was hoarse, sorrowful, and fragmented, causing one's heart to ache when they heard it. As he laughed, turbid tears fell from the corners of his eyes. The old man laughed and said in a low voice, "It's so good, such a strong effect, at least. I know that I'm still alive, ha 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 ha." He did not know how long he had been in pain, or how long he had been laughing. Suddenly, the old man's laughter stopped. His wrinkled and dirty face revealed an expression of disbelief, and his eyes slightly widened. At this time, the effect of the medicine had already passed, and the monster core had stopped spinning violently. The thick energy surrounding the monster core began to slowly seep into the monster core, slowly repairing the damage on it. Although he only repaired a little bit before the energy was exhausted and stopped, the old man suddenly sat up from the garbage heap. His withered tree-like hand pressed hard on his chest, and his lips trembled. How could this be? How can it be repaired? How can it be repaired? Chapter 4152. The old man's line of sight slowly turned and fell on the Qianquan bag not far away. The demonic elixirs inside had already been eaten by him, so he had no way of knowing the effects of those demonic elixirs. But one thing was for sure. It must be the demonic elixirs brought by that little girl that helped his demonic elixirs to recover a little. The old man hugged his trembling body and suddenly laughed in a low voice. Then his laughter became louder and louder, almost hysterical. There was actually someone in this world who could recover his demonic elixirs? This was not a dream. This was not his imagination. The old man suddenly climbed up from the pile of rubbish and stumbled out. Where is Yi Liangqin? Where is Yi Liangqin? Quickly tell me where Yi Liangqin is. The demon who was caught by him pushed him away and said unhappily, Is there something wrong with your brain? Demon King Yi went to a 4-star main city to participate in the marriage selection, of course. What? Already left? The old man said excitedly. When did he leave? Which 4-star main city did he go to? Old man, have you been dreaming these days? Demon King Yi left yesterday morning through the teleportation token. How would I know if he went to a 4-star main city? There are only immortal slaying, soul devouring, sky reaching, cloud locking in the 4-star main city. In a few days, the Hidden Abyss Mansion report will announce the list. At that time, I must go to a 4-star main city to support Demon King Yi. After saying these words, the demon pushed the old man away and left. The old man walked back to his shabby house in a daze. Gone. So it has been 2 days since I took those demonic elixirs? After returning to the shabby house, the old man looked at the Qianquan bag full of mabe and slowly clenched his fists. Right. He could go and find that little girl. Since the demon god let him meet her, it must be to give him a chance of survival. He must catch her even if he died. The old man lay in the rubbish pile, but his heart was still agitated and it was difficult to calm down. Suddenly, he sat up, completely ignoring the stench of the rubbish pile, and plunged into it. After a long while, he finally pulled out the crystal ball that was overflowing with light from the inside. The old man looked at the crystal ball in his hand, his eyes burning with obsession, but tears unconsciously fell from his eyes. Try again. He slowly pressed his skinny fingers on the crystal ball, and a sparkling light emitted from his palm. In the next moment, a sharp pain pierced through his mind. It was as if thousands of sharp needles were stabbing his head. The old man was in so much pain that his whole body was bent over, and beads of sweat rolled down like rain. However, he held the crystal ball tightly and refused to let go. The monster core in his body spun madly, and the hole that had just been repaired reappeared on the monster core. However, almost at the same time, something entered the old man's mind. It was incomparably clear, and it shook one's heart and soul. The old man's eyes suddenly widened, his pupils constricted, and his lips trembled. A shrill scream escaped from his throat, and he fell into the garbage with the crystal ball in his arms. But after the scream, he couldn't help but laugh out loud. The devils returned to tranquil region, a pearl in the vast sea, the phoenix soars through the 9 heavens, the 3 realms return to its heart. When the Divine Master ascends, where will he look at the 9 prefectures? Your Royal Highness. Your Royal Highness. Ha ha ha, it turns out that the one who brought me a glimmer of hope is your Royal Highness. You didn't expect it, did you? You never thought that there would be a day where I would make a comeback, did you? As he laughed, his tears fell down, with blood, bright red and glaring. Your Royal Highness. Your subject, the priest of the Demon Emperor, Zhongli, greets your Royal Highness. Chapter 41-53. Demon Imperial City. Still haven't found the princess. Min Wei frowned at the 4 dejected people and couldn't help but pace back and forth in the room. Xue Jie glanced at him cautiously and said in a low voice, I almost flipped over the 2- and 3-star main cities, but I couldn't find any trace of Her Highness. But what? The demon blood guards under Wu Feng reported that they saw a demon woman trying to leave Hidden Abyss. They discovered her and hurriedly escaped, but they lost track of her. Wu Feng guessed that she might be a spy from Nether Realm or Polar Realm. Because of the investigation, she panicked and wanted to escape, so she exposed herself. After that, we did a thorough investigation in the nearby 3-star main cities and caught quite a few spies. Min Wei rubbed his forehead, so after investigating for half a month, you have no clue of the princess. The 4 lowered their heads and didn't dare to speak. Min Wei was so angry he wanted to smash their heads. Do you know that the Heavenly Enchantment Banquet is about to begin? All the clans and sects of Xuxian continent are coming. At that time, the Hidden Abyss cannot be completely sealed. If you can't find the princess, what are you going to do about the Heavenly Enchantment Banquet? The 4 shrunk their necks and wanted to find a hole to hide in. No one dared to provoke Min Wei, who had turned into a fire-breathing demon. Xue Jie carefully looked up and whispered, How about we ask Lord Zhongli to come out of seclusion and divine for us? Since the princess is in Hidden Abyss, it will be much easier for Lord Zhongli to divine her location. Min Wei frowned and glared at her. Lord Zhongli was seriously injured in the war 1,000 years ago. Since then, he has to go into seclusion to heal. When he comes out, the Heavenly Enchantment Banquet will begin. How are you going to find him? Do you think your idea is good? Xue Jie shook her head and almost cried. Sob sob sob, the Heavenly Enchantment Banquet was the Demon Venerable's idea. Elder Min Wei didn't scold the Demon Venerable but them. Picking on the soft persimmon. Yao Dao thought for a moment, Elder Min Wei, how about we stop looking? Stop looking. Yes, we will wait for the princess to come out herself. His eyes flickered, and he said in a low voice, although the Demon Venerate doesn't like the Polar Domain Sovereign Lord, the princess even has a child with him, so their relationship must be pretty good. Di Mingju has been invited to the enchantment banquet. As long as the princess is still in the Hidden Abyss, she will inevitably hear the news. At that time, there's no need for us to look for him, the princess will find a way to meet Di Mingju. Min Wei frowned, revealing a pondering expression. This wasn't really a solution. Although there was a certain risk, there was no other way. Min Wei waved his hand and said, just do as Yao Dao said. Remember to wear the Demon Core Blood Jade at all times. If you miss the princess, let the Polar Domain people take her away first. Hee, at that time, be careful of your skin. I know. Rest assured, Elder, the princess must not be snatched away. If Di Mingju wants to marry our princess, then he can marry into our Qinyuan. He'll serve the princess together with the prince's son-in-law selected from the general election. Xue Jie said excitedly, which one do you all favor? Let me tell you, there's an outrageously handsome boy in a 3-star main city. His name is Enchanting. I heard that he's very good looking. His little face is so tender that water can come out of it. Chapter 4154. The key is that he's strong, can refine demonic pills, and has a large group of followers behind him. I think it's good to let him serve the princess. TCH, what's so good about a pretty boy? I think the kid from the Hellion family is the most interesting. He's arrogant, cold, and powerful. I like him the most. Hellion and is too bloody and cruel. What if he scares the princess? I think the younger generation from the Bailey family is better. Min Wei, damn it, he really wanted to throw this group of brainless devils into the demonic fire and let them be reforged. Demon Imperial City, Yue Palace. Immortal slaying, soul devouring, sky piercing, cloud locking. Choose, which 4-star main city do you want to watch the competition? Yun Ruhan looked at the 4 teleportation tokens in front of him, then at the little girl in front of him. He couldn't help but smile. Although he was told to choose, only one of the 4 teleportation tokens was placed in front of him. The other 3 were placed far away. Was he supposed to choose? It was obvious that he had already chosen for her. Yun Ruhan picked up the teleportation token in front of him and said gently, I choose Immortal Slaying City. Seeing that he chose Immortal Slaying City as he wished, Yu Yu's delicate little face immediately bloomed with a bright smile. This smile was too much like a pure little girl's, innocent and pure, as if it could not tolerate any filth in the world. Madam, I also want to go to Immortal Slaying City, may I? A gentle voice came over, causing Yun Ruhan to suddenly return to his senses. Luo Xiyuan walked toward the 2 with a charming smile on his face. He looked at Yu Yu with a gentle gaze, but his tone was teasing and pleading. We're both demonic pets. Madam, you can't only take Ruhan but not me. Saying that, he walked toward Yu Yu as if he wanted to pull her into his arms. But before he could touch Yu Yu's hand, Yu Yu had already taken a step back and moved closer to Yun Ruhan. She squinted her almond-shaped eyes and looked at him for a while. Her lips slowly curled up. Okay, you can come too. What about us? We want to go too. I've long wanted to see Demon King Ye's glory. The first demon to unify Tianguang ruins. My lord, bring me along. In an instant, a group of magic pets rushed out, chirping non-stop. Yu Yu waved her hand and said, all of you, go together. The demonic pets immediately cheered. Long live my lord. I can finally see Yap Liangchen who I admire so much. Huh? Who are you to call Yi Liangchen? Call him Great Demon King. Yun Ruhan, little junior sister, what did you do this time? He didn't even want to be a demoness and directly promoted to a Great Demon King. He reached out to touch his forehead and couldn't help but smile helplessly. Suddenly, Luo Xiyuan's voice sounded in his ears, Brother Ruhan, do you know Yi Liangchen? Yun Ruhan retracted her smile and said gently, why would Brother Luo ask such a question? Of course I don't. I just feel that Yap Liangchen's appearance and fighting style is more like a human spirit cultivator. I thought that Brother Ruhan would know him. Luo Xiyuan said casually, but if you think about it, it's impossible. If he was a fallen evil, how could he be so powerful, and how could he be so crazily sought after by the demon race? Chapter 4155. It would take a lot of devil chi to teleport so many people to the immortal slaughtering city. However, with Yu Yu's cultivation, she naturally did not care about these things. She ordered all the demonic pets to stand around her. She held the teleportation token of the immortal slaughtering city in her hand and injected demonic energy into it. A thick black and red mist emanated from her body, enveloping everyone, including Yunruhan. His head felt heavy and his feet felt light, as if his soul was being torn out of his body. Yunruhan's expression suddenly changed, and she subconsciously reached out to grab the girl's hand. In the next moment, the world before his eyes spun. When he steadied himself, he saw a vast plain. The green grass was lush, and the mountain range was verdant. The air was filled with dense spiritual chi and immortal chi, but there was no demonic chi. This seemed to be a paradise. What happened? Where are we? A panicked voice sounded in his ears. Yunruhan turned around and realized that she and Yu Yu were not the only ones who had entered the blessed enclave. There was also a male pet who grabbed Yu Yu's sleeve out of excitement and nervousness. It seemed to be called Yenin. This was a demonic soldier of the same rank as Yunruhan. He had been following Yu Yu for a very long time, but he was very timid and weak, so he usually did not have much of a presence. Now, he had suddenly arrived at a strange place without even devil chi. Yenin was so scared that he didn't know what to do. He grabbed Yu Yu's sleeve tightly, wishing he could stick his whole body to her. Yu Yu, you didn't expect this, did you? A familiar voice sounded. Luo Xiyuan walked over with a smug smile on his face. Behind him, there were more than 10 people. Each of them had reached the peak of the golden immortal realm. 3 of them were even profound immortals. As for Luo Xiyuan, the demon core he had revealed in the secluded moon palace was that of a demon guard. At this moment, there was not a single bit of demonic energy on his body. Instead, a powerful celestial energy was being released. He had actually reached the 3rd level of the mysterious immortal realm. Luo Xiyuan waved his hand, and the spirit cultivators behind him immediately spread out, surrounding Yu Yu and Yunruhan. Demon Yu Yu, I've endured humiliation and been your pet for so many years just for this day. This Cloud Sun immortal abode will be your burial ground. After saying this, Luo Xiyuan waited for Yu Yu to reveal a panicked and angry expression. However, he was met with the girl's mocking eyes. I was wondering why I always felt that your body had a foul smell, and it made me feel disgusted when I got close to you. It turns out that it's a demonic aura forged by the demonic corpse nucleus. Luo Xiyuan's face instantly twisted, and his eyes seemed to be spitting fire. He had always been proud of his incomparably handsome appearance, and he was not inferior to even the Polar Domain Sovereign Emperor. There were countless female cultivators in the Shushan continent who wanted to be his beloved concubine. A person like him disguised himself to approach Yu Yu and seduce a little girl. It should have been a piece of cake, but who knew that for 2 whole years, Yu Yu would not even look at him. Not to mention asking him to serve her in bed. On the contrary, Yunruhan, a good-for-nothing fallen evil, climbed into Yu Yu's bed in just one night. Luo Xiyuan had no sexual interest in Yu Yu. However, Yu Yu's disregard and disgust for him deeply hurt his self-esteem. He sneered. Female devil, what you're saying now is just a last-ditch struggle. There is no demonic energy in the Cloud Sun immortal abode, only immortal energy and spiritual energy. No matter how powerful you are, you're just a beast without teeth, at our mercy. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.